Imagine walking through time not metaphorically, but literally, across the Serengeti plains of northern Tanzania, near a quiet place called Laetoli. The ground once trembled beneath a volcano. Its ash settled like fresh snow, and then something extraordinary happened. Three beings walked across that soft ash. They didn't know they were making history. They were simply moving forward. Today, those footsteps are 3.6 million years old, the earliest known human-like footprints on Earth. Frozen in volcanic ash, they bridge a gap between the wild world of apes and the dawn of humanity. Archaeologists call them the Laetoli footprints, and they tell a story no fossil bone alone ever could, a story written not in skulls or tools, but in motion. In 1976, during an expedition led by Dr. Mary Leakey, fragments of ancient tracks began to appear in an exposed layer of hardened, tough volcanic ash compressed by time. Leakey's team initially believed the markings belonged to ancient animals, but in 1978, after a rare rainstorm cleared debris from the surface, they saw something different. A set of tracks, a left, then a right, heel-to-toe, with arches and aligned toes. Leakey paused. "They're human," she whispered. These weren't random impressions. They were deliberate steps, consistent with bipedal locomotion, walking on 2 feet. But no humans had existed 3.6 million years ago. The world's timeline shifted. That day. To understand when these beings walked, scientists turned to volcanic tuff dating, specifically potassium-argon radiometric analysis. The layer containing the footprints, known as Tuff 7, was sandwiched between 2 volcanic eruptions, allowing precise dating. Result: 3.63 to 3.66 million years ago. That's nearly 2 million years before the first known Homo species, long before tools, before fire, before any known human civilization. The only creatures alive then with remotely human-like anatomy were Australopithecus afarensis, the same species as the famous fossil Lucy discovered in Ethiopia in 1974. Lucy's bones showed a pelvis and leg adapted for upright walking, but the Laetoli prints provided proof that this species didn't just walk upright. Sometimes they did so naturally, fluidly, with balance and confidence. The Laetoli footprints likely belonged to a small group of Australopithecus afarensis, an adult pair and a smaller individual, possibly a juvenile, walking together. Foot length, stride length, and spacing reveal remarkable detail. The largest individual stood about 1.4 meters tall. The smaller, around 1.2 meters, roughly the height of a 7-year-old child. Their gait pattern, heel strike to toe off, mirrors modern human biomechanics. There's evidence of weight shift over the arches, suggesting non-divergent big toes, meaning they no longer grasped branches like chimpanzees. One step, for example, shows a slight inward roll, the kind seen when walking on soft ground. That means they weren't dragging their feet or staggering awkwardly. They walked with purpose. And here's a rarely discussed fact. Paleosurface analysis of the Laetoli site suggests a light drizzle had fallen shortly before the footprints were made. The ash was just moist enough to capture perfect impressions, which then baked dry under the equatorial sun, sealing this moment in geological time. Modern 3D laser scanning and photogrammetry techniques, unavailable in the 1970s, have revealed even more astonishing insights. Researchers found that the stride dynamics of the Laetoli hominins fall within the energy-efficient range of modern humans. Their walking speed, roughly 1.0 meter per second, a relaxed stroll. This wasn't an awkward experiment in upright walking. It was habitual bipedalism, the hallmark of our lineage. Moreover, subtle asymmetries between the footprints indicate social behavior. The 2 larger sets walked close together, perhaps side by side. The smaller one occasionally overlapped them, suggesting either a family group or protective following behavior, a parent and offspring moving through ash that still smoked from eruption. This intimate snapshot of movement tells us that bipedalism preceded brain expansion, social complexity, and tool use. We learned to walk together before we learned to think together. If you could stand at Laetoli today, you'd see those same footprints, preserved under layers of sediment and now carefully protected. They remain one of the most sacred fossils in the story of humanity, not because of what they are, but because of what they represent. When Mary Leakey brushed away the ash, she uncovered the first evidence of human rhythm, a moment when our ancestors looked less like apes and more like us. Every step you take today, every walk to work, every barefoot trail in the sand echoes that same ancient motion. The Laetoli footprints are not just traces in stone. They are a testament to endurance, a record of curiosity, and a symbol of connection linking our modern humanity to a dawn where the very act of walking was evolution's quiet triumph. In the silence of deep time, their steps became our story, a 3.6 million-year-old reminder that to be human is, above all, to keep moving forward.